I mean, we're just doing we just talk, really. What else is new?
Iron Sky, which is the Finnish crowd-funded film, which I've been the fortunes of which I've been following for years. I first came across these guys in Cannes 4 or 5 years ago, and they were trying to put together this movie, and they had the idea, and the idea was in 1945 Nazis went to the moon. In 2000 and blah, 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 they're coming back, which is a great setup. And they were raising money slowly, and when I first met them, they just had some special effects that they'd done on computers. And then the next year I met them, they had some more special effects, and then they were talking about actually getting. And then finally they got a cast together. It ends up with Udo Kier, he from Flesh for Frankenstein and other sort of cult movies. And finally they get the thing made. So the story is 1945 Nazis went to the moon, but their technology hasn't moved on from 1945. They've got some flying saucers which they could, use to come back to Earth, but they don't have supercomputers enough to make. The supercomputers that they discover is when a spaceship from the Earth lands on the moon, bringing with it a mobile phone, which is the supercomputer they need. Anyway, here's a clip.
Ich glaub Sauerkraut. Schon wieder?
Hey.
Das darf doch wohl nicht wahr sein.
Hey.
Glaubst du, der Führer isst
Sauerkraut.
auch dreimal die Woche Sauerkraut?
Right? No. I love me some sauerkraut. And Volkswagen. Huh? Fahrvergnügen. Hey! German words, right? It's as if, like, where I come from, we speak German, too. You know what I'm saying? Oh. Damn, you gonna be sorry you did that, white boy.
Do you know what that sounds like?
Go on.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The original radio series.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
it sounds
All right.
like.
Well, that's not the funniest clip in the world. And there was this gag about, Finnish comedy, it's no laughing matter. I have to say, actually, there are things in the movie that are a lot funnier than that. So the central idea is that they've been up there on the moon. There's a whole new generation, and they know nothing about actually the history of how they got there. And have been brought up actually to think that they're very peaceful. That their slogan is "We come in peace." They've also been shown, and this is actually one of the smartest gags, they've been shown an edited version of The Great Dictator. We were talking about The Dictator, the Charlie Chaplin film. But the bit they've been shown is the bit of Chaplin bouncing around the world, but they haven't seen the rest of the movie. They think it's a celebration until finally they're going to get in spaceships and come back. Now, here's the thing with Iron Sky. An awful lot of people have reviewed the film and said, great setup, but the film itself, doesn't live up to the hype. I have to say, I have seen loads and loads of movies in which that was the case. Teenagers in for Barbarian in Dinosaur Hell, that's the classic example. Surf Nazis Must Die, the Troma movie. In fact, most of the Troma back catalogue, Toxic Avenger, all that sort of stuff, they were all films in which it was a title and a poster and a gag, and that's it, and there is nothing else. People who are saying that about Iron Sky do not know what a trash movie looks like. The thing with Iron Sky is this. Now, no, it's not perfect. No, there are many, many things wrong with it. But I'm astonished that in a world in which Piranha 3 Double D was released on several screens around the country, and apparently everybody could go and see it, Iron Sky is going to open for one day and then go straight to Blu-ray DVD. I think it deserves more than that. Now, I understand that there are a lot of people who don't find it as funny as I did, and I understand why. But if you're somebody who, and here's the key thing, if you understood why Piranha Women in the Avocado Jungle of Death was a cut above in terms of those movies, then I think you'll like Iron Sky. For one thing, and this is something that nobody's pointing out, it's designed really well. I mean, it's got these kind of Ed Wood flying saucers that just from a special effects point of view, I don't mean rip-roaring special effects. You haven't seen special effects like this anywhere else, but what you haven't seen is special effects this well designed before. I mean, the film makes references all the way through to other movies. Obviously, you mentioned The Great Dictator there. There's stuff from Plan 9 from outer space, and I think, therefore, stuff from Mars Attacks. There is a central gag about Watermelon Man, which I thought was, kind of worked quite well. And yes, maybe the script, could do with another pass through and polish. I thought visually it was impressive. I like the central idea, which I thought they strung. Yes, in the end, it goes on to carry on sort of campness and bawdiness. In fact, Nick James from Sight and Sound said pretty much like that it is carry on Nazis on the moon. But it's carry on Nazis on the moon with a design that is influenced by, I would say, as I said, Plan 9 from Outer Space and Mars Attacks. It has funnier gags in it than several of the movies that I have seen recently, and I did laugh quite a few times. And I have a benevolent, good feeling towards it that I think anybody who's watched enough genuine... When people are saying it's just the setup and then the movie is a disappointment, you don't know what those... you haven't seen Rug Suckers from Mars. Believe me, the film is much, much better than many people give it credit for. Yet, no, not perfect, but I think, honestly, if you gave me a choice of seeing Piranha 3 Double D and this, or, Mega Piranha versus Giant Octopus and all those movies, which are the Asylum movies, which are boring as anything, this is not that. It's better than that.
And on the subject of Iron Sky, an email from Chris Gibbons. Simon, I was lucky enough to be at the premiere screening of this movie.
At the Berlin Film Festival?
No, in Tampere, Finland, the spiritual home of Iron Sky, at the end of March, when the production crew appeared on stage to answer questions after the film. I currently work there. Before I start, cards on the table, it's my favourite film of the year, if not for several years. Knowing a little of the history of the film, I went in with an open mind and tried not to be judgmental about the outcome. I knew it had a budget of around £6 million, which some directors famously wouldn't know what to do with. I knew that
yes, that's right.
Yes, we know of whom you speak. I knew that previous ventures from the same team were literally knocked up in their back bedroom. So imagine my surprise when the quality of the film matched anything that has come out of the mainstream this year. The tongue-in-cheek references to current world politics, infamous YouTube clips, and even their own Finnish culture were a breath of fresh air. The plot was original and unique, and not even that far-fetched. Really?
Only in Finland.
Up until that point. The special effects were everything that they needed to be and more. Iron Sky, I believe, will be the biggest cult film of the decade. It deserves to be. I, for one, can't wait for it to open in the UK so I can take the family to see it. When it comes out on DVD, it will be in my reserved collection of all-time favourites.
There has been some question about the DVD extras, because I tell you this, it's the kind of film that deserves to come out in a double DVD with just like hours and hours of extra, because Timo Valenzuela, who's the guy who directed it, and I do like them. I mean, I have to say this, I do like them. I've met them and interviewed them, and I like them. I like the spirit of the film. I like the fact that they got it made, and I like the design of it. But it's the kind of thing that you want 2 hours of it, because there is so much. The backstory of it is just so interesting, and I think they're funny.
But just open for a day, and that's it. So
open for a day, apparently, yes, just on a Wednesday, apparently. So, I'm not a distributor, but world in which Piranha 3D opening everywhere. That